What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another tips and tricks video for Football Manager 2022. Now, the full game has been released. It was released yesterday. Today is Tuesday, the 9th of November. SI let the game slip a little bit early. So that means the in-game editor is now available for purchase. And I will say right off the bat, this is something that you do need to purchase on top of the game. But there are so many functions for the in-game editor. Once you get into the game, I think it kind of outweighs it, especially for the cost over the course of a 12-month game cycle. Today, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to find it, how to get it in your saves, what you need to do when you set up a new save, and what you can do with the in-game editor once you get set up. I'm going to go through a little bit of a tutorial and show you what it is capable of. So without any further ado, let's jump into things. So guys, first and foremost, I need to tell you how to get the in-game editor. Once you load up Football Manager 22, you will be met with this screen. Obviously, you have all the different options to start a new game, etc., etc. But what you will need to do is click on this More drop down here and then go into Downloads. This is where it brings up all the DLC available for the game that you can purchase. As you can see here, you've got the in-game editor and you've got all the stuff via Steam. That is where I have got my game. It is via Steam, and as you can see, the in-game editor is here, and it gives you a little bit of definition about what you can do. You can change all player attributes and staff attributes, under the hood attributes such as current ability and potential ability, transfer players and staff in between clubs, and much more. As I said, the power of this tool is unreal, and it is available for $5.99. So you just hit that buy now button and you will be set up with the in-game editor. Alternatively, for players like myself, I bought it directly through Steam. It's much of a muchness, whichever one you prefer. But if you are on Steam, search for Football Manager 2022, then scroll down, and as you can see here, content for this game, Football Manager 2022 in-game editor. You just click add all DLC to your cart and then check out. As you can see, I've already got mine in my library. But what you need to do, guys, is that once you do it through Steam, you can kind of pay in any way you want: PayPal, credit card information, Steam wallet, whichever you prefer, whichever your preferred payment method is. You can do it this way. So then now, to make sure you have the in-game editor enabled in your save, you need to make sure that one of these boxes in the pre-game setup where you pick your team and pick what leagues you want is unticked. Now, I've already done a video on the channel explaining how I feel it is best for you guys to set up your custom databases for this sort of thing. So please do go and check that one out on the channel. But the button you need to have unticked is this one here: prevent the use of the in-game editor. Obviously, the in-game editor is what you've just purchased. If this box is ticked, you will not be able to use it in-game. So please do make sure this one here is unticked. And now it is time to show you the power of the in-game editor. Okay then, guys, I have loaded up a save with the in-game editor enabled, and I am the Bristol City manager. Now, you will know if the in-game editor has been enabled for your save after purchase by having this little pencil here, and as you can see, it comes up with the menu tab of FM in-game editor. If you click on this, this brings up this data here and all the different things that you can do with it. Obviously, there is an editor manual that you can access, produced by Sports Interactive. You can go and take a look at that one, but there are so many options and there's so many things you can do on so many different screens. I'm just going to run through a few of them now. So the first one, obviously, if you want to move your manager to another club, you can do this as easily as you like. If I want to become Liverpool manager, you just type in Liverpool in the search box there. And as you can see, here are Liverpool. If I tab this one here, so it is selected in the purple, and hit OK, instead of being Bristol City manager, I'll now be Liverpool manager. Obviously, you need to make sure that these leagues are playable, but other than that, that is how you transfer yourself. If you want to add yourself to a national team, you can do much the same here. I am going to be doing a save on the channel with Red Star Belgrade, so if I wanted to be the Serbia manager as well, just type in Serbia, hit OK, and then you would also automatically become the manager of whichever national team you wanted to, just in case you didn't manage to get it right when you set up your game. Other stuff you can do here, you can edit staff details. Obviously, this is your current role and your current person. Obviously, I've set my current ability to 192. Why wouldn't I? We've got potential ability, current reputation as well of my manager, home reputation. You can change all of this stuff. Ambition, loyalty, pressure, professionalism. These are all the hidden attributes that sort of make up your character. Again, you can edit these. These range from 1 to 20, as you can see here. The reputation ranges from 1 to 10,000. chosen, much the same. If you hover over all these fields, guys, it will give you the sort of range that you're allowed to use from. You can set everything in here: preferred formation, secretary, preferred formation, etc, etc. If you go into your attributes again, you can sort of tidy up things here and make these as good or as bad as you like. Obviously, again, these range from 1 to 20. Again, in terms of staff roles, you're going to be a manager, but you know, if you wanted to be a director of football, you could give yourself a 20 at director of football, you could give yourself 20 at being a fitness coach. You can kind of do whatever you like, guys. If we go into edit personal details, this is much the same. You get to change everything you like here: my name, how I'm referred to, international caps, international goals, what nation I'm declared for. I can add in my favorite people here, so I could say I actually like Nigel Pearson, the Bristol City manager currently, despite him losing his job by me taking his job in this save. I could add him here. All you need to do is go add, and then you can search for the player here. You go onto this empty one here, and then you search select person, Nigel Pearson. Sorry, Big Nige, I am a big fan of yours, I promise. So Nigel Pearson there, we select him, we say okay, and now Nigel Pearson will be on my list of favorite people. You can do the same with dislike people as well. So if there's a manager you didn't like, you can go on here and do that. Much the same with favorite clubs and dislike clubs as well. So for me in this instance, I could go on and put Bristol Rovers in here, despite me working for them previously. If you go into the languages section, you can also say what other languages your manager can speak. So if you sign a player from South America or something like that, let's say you sign a manager from Brazil and you're having trouble helping him settle and you want to learn how to speak Portuguese, well, you can do that instantly using the in-game editor. You select the language here. Obviously, if we just type in Portuguese, there it is, and now you can say Portuguese. You select OK, so the language populates in the language section, and you can say proficiency. Again, this ranges from 0 to 10, so if you aren't proficient in speaking a language, it will be 0, but in this instance, we want to be able to speak Portuguese. We want to communicate with our South American wonder kid, so we've said 10, and then you hit OK, and then if you go into my profile, you can see here now that languages that I speak, I'm fluent in English, and apparently I'm fluent in Portuguese. Who knew? There are other things that you can do as well. If we go back to the club screen a second, you can edit club contract details. This is obviously your contract with the club. You can do everything. You can put little bonuses in here. But to be perfectly honest, Sports Interactive haven't, and I feel that they don't need to add in stuff that you can spend your wages on, so I wouldn't personally add or change anything in here whatsoever. Again, you can do other clauses as well, other player clauses, staff clauses, all of that good stuff. In addition, you can add other nationalities, much the same as sort of the nationality, the language that you can speak. Sorry, you can squad registration at any time, allow squad numbers at any time. So if you've accidentally made a mistake in your squad registration for the Premier League or whatever league you're managing in, you can amend that here. You can tick become unsackable if you never want to lose your job, and you can also terminate your contract if you wanted to become a free agent. Now, there's a couple of other things I wanted to show you in here as well. If we go into the club info screen, this brings up a little bit about the club. Look at these lovely Hummel Bristol City kits. Again, if you go on the pencil tab, you can see anything here. You can edit the club details, kit details, allow squad registration anytime, squad numbers anytime, show all players in search and show all staff in search. I will come back to that in a second. If you want to edit all your club details, you could. This is where you do it, guys. So you go into the club info tab and then hit the pencil again. You can set everything here from reputation, club attendance, background and foreground colors in your stadium. You can amend the finances of your club if you like. This is something that some people choose to do. You can change your bank balance here. So if I change our bank balance, what even is that bank balance? Come on, Steve. So the bank balance at the moment is 3.5 million. I'm going to change it to 100 million. And then we can come back and see what that looks like in a second. In terms of facilities and stuff, you can change the name of your stadium if you're unhappy with whatever the stadium's called. I'm looking kind of more towards Newcastle fans with this one. If you want to change things back to St James's Park, this is how you do that. You can add a roof to your stadium, change the capacity. You can also have a look at the club's facilities in terms of training facilities, youth facilities, etc., etc. These all range from 1 to 20, and you can sort of tailor how you think things come through your club. If you think, for instance, your club like Crew Alexandra, who produce a lot of good youngsters, you can potentially change your youth recruitment and your youth facilities to sort of reflect that. If your club's got a brand new training facility in real life, like Bristol City have, you can kind of potentially up this and say, I actually think our training facilities are brilliant. So there you go. You can amend rival clubs and stuff like that. Again, much the same as what we did with adding Nigel Pearson as a favoured personnel to me. You can do the same with clubs here. So Bristol Rovers, Cardiff, Swindon and Yeovil Town. Favourite people, again, relatively standard, much the same as all these others. Dislike people, again, you can do the same here. Darryl Clark, Payne. Obviously, for instance, Joey Barton would be in here. Nicky Maynard is interesting in the dislike personnel. He did leave with a little bit of animosity. And then obviously current affiliations. If you go onto here, guys, if you wanted to have a partnership with a club somewhere, you can set this up here. So for instance, if I go on to add here, I go onto the blank one and then we select the club. Who is good at producing youngsters? Let's say Vélez in Argentina. This is where Thiago Almeida comes from. You select Vélez here and then you say, okay, we now have a relationship with Vélez. We can also select all the options that we want to do with this club as well. You can say what the type of affiliation is, etc., etc. Then we go on to all the options that come with it. So you can move players freely. Players go out on loan there. We get the first option to buy of all of their players, and there's anything that you can do here. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do and tick on and off, and you add the relationship there and it is all done and dusted. As you can see, remember, I did change the bank balance of Bristol City, so as we go over, it's gone to 1 million. I've definitely not added enough zeros on there, haven't I? If we go on edit club details again, finances, 1, 2, 3, yeah, I didn't put enough zeros in there, did I? I only put 1 million. There you go, 100 million club balance, and you can do the same as well. This will sort of impact all your finances and that sort of thing. Now we go into the squad screen and we're going to talk about players. Now, a player who I am very fond of is Noah Masingo, young Frenchman who plays for Bristol City. He's 19 years of age, but you can edit anything about the players here. You can do all sorts. You can move them to another club. You can move to another club on loan. You can remove all their injuries. You can edit their attribute details, their personal details, contract details, add another nationality, freeze their attributes, terminate the contract. You can kind of save this as a template of a player. So for instance, if you said, I want this template of Neymar and I want to recreate Neymar with a player at my club, you can export Neymar's attribute template and add it to a player at your club. So let's say you wanted to start editing the attributes of your players. You just click start editing here and you can edit all sorts here. So let's say I actually think his work rate is higher than 13. Let's say it's 20. Again, remember guys, these attributes range from 1 to 20. I think his work rate is really good. I think his teamwork's pretty good as well. And I think his stamina and natural fitness are really good. So 20 for stamina and let's say 20 for natural fitness. As I amend these guys, what I will say is his recommended current ability, as you can see it here, is 130, but his current ability here is 113. So you will need to change that one as well, so it is reflected. And as you can see, Noah Masingo is now a 4-star central midfielder. And once you're done, you just click on the pencil again and click stop editing. You can also change other things about them as well. If you go into here, the pencil again, and edit the player attribute details, you can see all the sorts of stuff again. You've got the potential abilities. You can change his potential ability and say 200. He could be, in theory, the best player in the world. So we can change that potential ability. Again, that ranges from 130 to 200. You've got the reputations as well. You've got all the hidden attributes that you don't necessarily see in the game: adaptability, ambition, loyalty, pressure, professionalism, sportsmanship, temperament, controversy, consistency, dirtiness, important matches, injury proneness, versatility, and then obviously his height and weight and stuff as well. So you can go in and amend these and make them make these players as good as you think they are, or as good as you want them to be. In terms of fitness, again, you can go in here and edit all of the fatigue stuff and match sharpness. You can change which position you want him to play in. So he is a central midfielder. He is also a defensive midfielder. I want him to be a natural at right wing back for some reason, so we put the 20 in there. Then, as you can see, behind this, it has sort of added him as a right wing back. You can take on and off any of the traits in any of these lists. You can also say that he can be trained at your club or trained in the nation. So you can add on a nation here. You could say, okay, I want him to be trained within England. Now, I know a lot of people might do this for eligibility purposes in terms of, you know, if you're playing in England, you've got to deal with Brexit. This is a potential way around Brexit. And as you can see, if we go onto Hano Masingo and we go onto his information here, you can see all of the stuff that we've messed around with there. And as you can see on his profile, he's looking quite tidy. He is looking quite tidy. Again, if you wanted to do something a little bit different, let's go on Mbappe. And we have Kylian Mbappe here, and we can go on Kylian Mbappe and move him to my club. And you can say how much you want to sign these players for. So let's say I want to sign Kylian Mbappe for £100. We're going to get PSG to pay 100% of his wages, and that's going to be it. So Kylian Mbappe will now move. As you can see, he is now a Bristol City player. If we go over to Bristol City and we go over to the squad, we now have Kylian Mbappe at Bristol City. Again, sort of doing things. Obviously, I haven't amended his contract, so his contract expires at the end of the season. I wonder if he'd stay. But as you can see, if we go into his history, Bristol City bought Kylian Mbappe from PSG for £100. You can do all of this stuff as well on your staff. If you go into your staff and I go onto my assistant manager, for instance, Curtis Fleming, we click on Curtis here. Come on. There we go, there's Curtis. Again, much like we did with the player attributes, you can amend a staff attribute as well, much the same here. Amend their salary, amend all of their attributes and make them as good or as bad as you want to. Again, you can do all the other stuff. You can move them to national teams, move to another club, all of that good stuff. Now, some of the other things that you can do with this, if we go into the scouting section and we look for players, obviously we are currently restricted by our scouting budget and our scouting package that we can only scout players within England. This is where the in-game editor comes in and you can tidy things up a little bit. As you can see here, we have 3,872 players that we have found. If we go onto the little pencil and we go show all players in search, this will now allow all of the players within the world that would be eligible and interested to come to Bristol City. This will show them all. As you can see, the number's gone up to 4,719. And then if we change this to, let's say, unsure, that's gone up even more, 4,908. And as you can see, there's some bargains in here that you wouldn't have been able to find if you hadn't been able to find them using the in-game editor. Again, you can do the same when you're improving your staff. I did a video the other day on how to improve staff and stuff like that, and you can do the same here. And you can show all staff in search. And again, the number goes up to 1,519. Again, these are players and staff that would be interested in joining your club. Some other stuff you can do whilst you're searching as well, guys. If you go into a new search here, you can add additional conditions. Now, if you go on the drop down here, you can see FM in-game editor, and you can say, I want to take a look at all the potential ability of everyone in my game database. Now, I want to see everyone with a potential of at least 100 and let's say 170. And we click OK. And as you can see here, there's some players in here that are listed as 170 potential who would be interested in coming to Bristol City. Emmanuel Adebayor is one of them. And then we've got this guy here who is a Real Madrid player, Julian Jean Guerrero. Again, these are only players who would be slightly interested in coming to Bristol City. So if we amend this search and let's make that 150, and to exclude all of the old boys in the squads in the game, let's say we want to restrict that to 21. So this will now bring up players that have a potential ability of at least 150 that are between 15 and 21 years of age. And boom, here is a bit of an ultimate shortlist of players that you could go after to be wonder kids for your team. Again, without the use of the in-game editor, this may not potentially be viable for you. So guys, that is all the power of the in-game editor. I hope you find this video useful. If you have, please do drop a like on the video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And if you have any further questions about the in-game editor, please do let me know down in the comments. I will read them all and I will respond to them. And hopefully this sort of thing can improve your Football Manager gaming experience. But until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you on another one very, very soon.